Hello, welcome to another beautiful evening here in sunny Nova Scotia, and welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name's Steve Farley. So if you're like me, at this time of year, you've got peas coming at you left, right and centre. I've just picked these and these. I don't know what to do with them all. I've had peas in my roast, I've had peas in my stir fry, I've had peas in my curry. So what about a nice beautiful green pea soup? I know, pea soup don't sound that good, and this is what Mrs. F said when I suggested it in the first place, but it's absolutely delicious. So why don't you join me for a bit of The Optimistic Gardener in the kitchen, and we'll make a nice fresh pea green soup, or is it green pea soup? Whatever, it's delicious. Follow me. Hello, so welcome to The Optimistic Kitchen. Now I know what you're thinking, Steve, you should be sticking to the garden, let the cooking and the kitchen stuff to the professionals. But there's no point growing all these beautiful vegetables, or as growing all these vegetables, if you don't know how to use them. And I love cooking. Now I'm not saying I'm some sort of Michelin chef, but I love to have a dabble in the kitchen. So today I'm going to make you fresh green pea soup. Well, it's not really going to be orange, is it? But anyway, I'm going to be making fresh green pea soup. So what do we need? Peas, obviously, fresh peas, just picked from the vine just then, and about 750 millilitres worth of peas, and that is a lot of peas. So I'll start early, get the whole family in it, see who can shell the most peas in one go, and give a prize for the most or something, because that's about how much peas you need. And that's what the end looks like. So get this on a composting, don't waste this, it can go back to feeding next year's peas. But anyway, so we need about 750 grams of fresh peas, 4 or 5 green onions, literally just pulled these out of the ground just then, a couple of medium-sized potatoes, these have again from the garden, couple of cloves of garlic, some butter, it's a nice good quality chicken stock. So obviously I'm putting up on the screen now the quantities of all the different bits and bobs you need, so you don't have to write it all down in a rush now. Please. And to give it that little bit of a kick, some cayenne pepper and some pancetta. Now we're not particularly sophisticated down here in Hubbard's, so my local supermarket doesn't have pancetta. So I've just got some nice back bacon. You can use whatever bacon you want, or pancetta. And this crisped up at the end as a garnish really tops it off beautifully. Some cayenne pepper and your ordinary pepper condiments. And a mixer or a blender. And that's it. So let me prep these green onions and these couple of potatoes and the garlic, and I'll get right back to you. So one of the key ingredients that I forgot to mention earlier, because I left it in the fridge, was buttermilk, or this buttermilk substitute. Now for those of you who don't know what it is, apparently buttermilk is the liquid left over when they make butter. And it's apparently a low-fat sort of liquid, high in protein. So, and it's used quite extensively down in the southern United States. Apparently, this is all what I've read. So, instead of, if you haven't got buttermilk or you can't get buttermilk, 125 millilitres of ordinary low-fat milk and a tablespoon of lemon juice or vinegar will be a good substitute. So there we go, that's my buttermilk substitute there. What I've done so far is I've taken the green onions and I've just given them a wash and trimmed them off, top and bottom. And now I'm just going to give them a quick chop up. Now, like I said, I'm no Michelin chef, so let's not pick me up on my knife skills, please. So let's take that big fat one out. But the rest of them, green part as well, give them a good nice chop. do love green onions. I put them in lots and lots of different dishes, and obviously raw as well. This is a big fat one, it's becoming an actual onion, but I thought I'd use it. There's the onions, a couple of garlic cloves, just give them a bit of a crush. And then chop your garlic up. Ooh, that's a bit of an eye waterer. So what we'll do is we'll heat the pan, heat these in the pan now with a knob of the butter, and while that's just sauteing for a few minutes, we'll chop up the potato. So I'm going to add a couple of knobs of butter to this pan. Let's not be stingy, eh? Got them on just a medium heat. Let this melt down, and then I'll add the spring onions, or green onions as you guys in North America say, and the garlic. Give them a little swirl around in the butter. And while they're cooking for a few minutes, just chop up the old potatoes. So while the green onions and garlic are sweating down on the pan, I'll just give these a good chop. I want these down into cube size bits, because they're going to go in with the chicken stock, and then we'll be mashing them up in the blender, won't we? So I'm going to get these cooking off as quick as we can. So that is my potatoes chopped up. Like I said, nobody's ever going to compliment me for my chopping skills, but it does the job. So let's stick these in the pan with the green onions and the garlic and the chicken stock. So I've brought the potatoes and the stock up to the boil. What I'll do now is I'm going to reduce the heat down to a simmer, partly cover, and leave it there for about 10-15 minutes until the potatoes are tender, and then we'll come back for the peas. Oh, I tell you something, the peas aren't even in and that's smelling nice. The butter and the spring onions all mixing in with the potatoes to a beautiful smell already. So that's 15 minutes done. What I'm going to do now is add the peas and give them a simmer for another 5 minutes. So give them a good mix in. I'll bring it to the boil again. Then partly cover it again, put it down to the simmer, good 5 minutes. While these are simmering, I'm going to saute the bacon. Obviously if you're vegetarian I'd give this one a miss, but I'm going to saute the bacon till it's nice and crispy, so I can use it as that garnish, give it that salty crunchiness to the soup when it's finished. So that's what I'm going to do now. Put this pan on a high heat, and I'll come back when it's sizzling. So that's the peas on the simmer, partially covered. Bacon's in. I'm dry frying this bacon, because that's going to make it a lot easier to make it nice and crispy. So it's sizzling away now. Half the time it's got its own bit of fat in there, even though it's lean bacon. So just keeping this moving around so it doesn't stick. 5 minutes for the peas. Nearly ready. So that's the peas done. Bacon's on its final sizzle. So I'm going to transfer this into a blender carefully. Get all the goodness in there. Right. For preparation, I forgot where the top is, so I'm going to have to give this a whiz without top. So, use the noise. Oh yes. Beautiful. Right, I'm going to transfer this back to the pot. So that's a nice thick. So add the buttermilk. That'll give that extra creaminess. Give that a stir. Season with some salt and pepper. I like loads of pepper, and so does Mrs. F. So I'll whack that in. And a bit of extra. Some cayenne pepper. Give that a good tasteful. Let's reheat this up now. Stir that in. Stir in that milk, stirring that in, and obviously the main thing is a taste test. Ooh. Ooh, that's got a kick to it as well. Touch more salt, I think. There we go, let's heat that up and then serve it up. So, there we go. Some nice pea soup. Gotta make it look nice for Mrs. F. Garnish it with a bit of the crunchy bacon. Tell you what, bit of parsley. Always good to have a bit of parsley outside. So I've made a bit of a pause because my young son, who is naked, is crawling behind the camera, trying to obviously get to one of his books. So I'll do a quick pause. So there we go. Fresh green pea soup with the added bonus of a nice bit of bacon. So let me know what you thought. It tastes absolutely delicious. Obviously the filming was a bit rough around the edges. I'm not as used to working in the kitchen as I am in the garden, but I'm sure that'll improve. And I've got loads of more dishes hopefully I can show you over the next few weeks and months using all the beautiful vegetables I've got growing in the garden. So, job's definitely a good one. I better get this down before it gets cold.